Hi people, I'm Sam. I'm from the UK and I live in California. I work as a web developer for my own business in California. I wanted to touch on a topic that has sometimes troubled people like myself sometimes, and it used to make me feel very insecure about living in my own property, and I'm sure that many people who have seen this might feel felt insecure about certain types of people who come to their door to make them feel very scared and edgy. And the important thing is to definitely don't get afraid of these people. They will be so horrible. They want to either put you in court or put you away for an alleged offence that say you didn't do, or try to extort money from you, and which is the problem with society. It's very corrupt and the government's very corrupt, and I'm going to go through some people and steps you can do to just eliminate any danger and problems of that they might try to bring if, like, say they come to your door, and they can be alleviated by just simply do not open the door to them. So, if you've probably watched the Urban Explorer, a channel that used to be up of a Derbyshire man who, talked about TV licensing, this is just like that. The only people who will be coming to your door are cold callers, hawkers, just trying to sell you some shit you don't want. Charity people trying to make you raise money for a charity, Jehovah's Witnesses who just read the shitty word of the gospel out to people, and they cut off people in the family if they don't follow God. Charity people, scroungers, neighbours on the scrounge, and even the police over some alleged incident they think you're involved in. It's not about hiding behind corners, scared, shaking like a leaf. You just got to change your mindset. Remember, your home is your home. It's your castle and keep. And your number one right, particularly in America's First Amendment, is privacy. And you deserve to live a private life away from those types of people. So I'm going to go through certain types of people that you can basically not comply with, not cooperate with, and just completely block them from your own home and your own life. Include debt collectors, TV license agents in the UK, bailiffs, particularly in the UK, police officers. Certainly police officers are one that people seem to keep thinking you have to let them in. You don't. There's no law that dictates that you ever have to let a police officer into your home, because they will seriously get you all put through the arrest and search your home with a reason, and then get you all prosecuted. So the best thing to do is just never let these people at all into your house. Debt collectors have no legal access into your home. They cannot go to your workplace and basically tell your boss that you owe debt. They cannot basically force their way in or lie about any methods that they have. They can be basically open to lawsuits, and they can be guilty of aggravated trespassing if they basically lie about their powers or intend to push their way past and lie to you about a debt. If, say, a debt collector is involved, then your best bet is to deal with the debt with your creditor, but don't pay debt collectors at all, as they basically are not the people you should really be paying. They're just a third-party entity that your debt would be passed to from a creditor. if you get a visit from an enforcement officer of TV licensing, don't feel intimidated. They have absolutely no power whatsoever to force their way into your home. And they will sometimes ask questions like, do you live here? Who are you? And then sometimes they might say, I'm from TV licensing. Importantly to them is don't say anything. Do not tell them about your situation. Don't tell them who you are or if you know the person they're after, and simply just completely close the door. In fact, don't bother ever opening the door to any people in the first place. Always, communicate through an open window. I can also show you an app that I use on my phone. It's very good. It's called Ring. This is a Ring app. If you can see, it monitors the outside of your home. I'm sorry if the screen's a bit bright. Basically, that's the monitoring outside. This is the app itself, and what you can do with Ring is just talk to the person who comes to your door, knocks on your door. It gives you an alert that somebody's at your door, and you can talk to them that way. If you know it's a TV license agent, you can just tell them to go fuck themselves or fuck off, whatever language you want to use. I don't really advise people use bad language. I just completely hang up on them and just ignore it and make them go away. Oh, also emphasize the letters. Just throw them in the bin. Simple as. You don't need to respond to them, and eventually down the line they'll give up. Particularly if you watch the Urban Explorer videos on that topic, you'll realise why you should never ever talk to BBC TV licensing at all. Bailiffs. With, say, a bailiff comes to your door, they probably come to your door because they basically got a means to say that you owe money to your creditor, and they've basically gone through court action. They normally would send you a letter within 7 days with a notice. The thing to remember when a bailiff comes to your door is they do not have any means to force their way in. They can only get in by peaceful entry, so that can mean an open window or an open door. Importantly, if a bailiff is at your door and he's made a mistake, say that you're not the debtor on his list, you do not need to do anything at all. If they will ask you just to get ID, don't do it. You do not need to get your ID out for them or identify who you are. Should the bailiff want to know exactly if the debtor's not there, they should tell them to ring the council, tell them to call up your estate agent or your covenant's solicitor, but importantly, don't let them in and don't give them any ID. You do not have to engage with them at all. If you are the debtor, then tell them that you will basically alleviate this debt in other means possible, but don't pay a bailiff on the door, and certainly don't ever open the door or let them in at all, because they will have the power next time to force entry. Unless it's for criminal fines in the UK or for unpaid stamp duty or income tax, then that's a little bit different. They don't have powers of entry at that point. But certainly if it's like a liability order or any money you owe to a creditor, it's important to know that you do not have to engage with bailiffs at all, and just keep them outside at all times. Again, I said about that Ring app, talk to them through that. It's as simple and easy, straightforward as that. Supposing if you have a Ring doorbell on your door, but You can normally get them, I think they're about £150 for a Ring doorbell. It's money well worth spent for your own protection. Last but not least, police officers. Remember, you should never ever let the police into your home. There's a video on a YouTube channel called Crimebodge that outlines the consequences of letting the police into your home. The police do not have power to enter your home unless they have a warrant signed by a judge of a magistrate or a crown court or any court, considering I'm talking from America here. They can only force entry to save life and limb. And in the UK, for a much more serious indictable offence, they do not have any right to enter your home by force for a low-level summary crime. They cannot basically force entry if you don't attend a voluntary interview, or basically you committed a case of harassment, you said something unpleasant to someone on Facebook. I mean, they have no powers of entry. If you said something unpleasant to someone on Facebook, I'd probably give you my forgiveness. I mean, I don't really give a fuck about those kinds of crimes at all, and certainly abusive messages. I mean, I don't really care about this stuff anyway. If the police come round for anything that's a low-level crime, you don't have to talk to them at all. Again, told you about that Ring app. Always keep talking to them through that. Above all, you don't have to let them in. If they are there for a wanted person, again, there is no law that dictates that you have to let the police in to just capture a wanted person if they believe that somebody's wanted in your own home. In times, if you know that a police officer is at your home because they're, in the whole uniform and batons and weapons and shit, then just, keep them outside. I live in America. I've even had an FBI agent at my door. I didn't bother letting him in. He did keep knocking for a while, and then just gave up and left me his business card to call him. I didn't bother, doing any of that. It did happen about 4 years ago. I was actually arrested unlawfully by Greater Manchester Police when I lived in Manchester for basically sending a couple of abusive emails to a family member, and it really made me feel isolated, alienated, and very down. I felt suckered. I wish I knew from Crimebodge that I should never ever let the police into my home. But I love to tell everybody out there that you do not have to, talk to the police at all when they come to your door. Things like harassment notices, don't accept them. They're just basic crappy pieces of paper that seem to outline what harassment is with the law. We're looking for witnesses or serving memos. Those have no force of law at all. Nor does it have a force of law to talk to the police, answer questions, or basically you don't want to find yourself incriminating yourself and then making your debut in court if they can prosecute you for what, based on what you say, it might be an admission of guilt. So never ever let the police into your home. Thank you all for watching. I hope you've learned some valuable lessons how to stay safe, particularly in your own property, and make sure people come respect your liberty. I'll post a link in the description where you can get this Ring app and Ring doorbell. There's lots of other things like security cameras you can put around your house, and it's very, very useful. It's money well spent, and it can give you the best protection in your own home when you feel a bit scared. If you work from home, most of the time you're at home, you can feel a bit edgy about someone who's don't like the look of at your door. So I do thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye.